Today I will cover how to navigate the SLDog web portal once you have uploaded your measurements taken in the field. I'll review several features and benefits built into the web portal that are provided by uploading the data from your SLRAD. I will cover some terms associated with the portal and how to make use of the custom fields provided in the mobile app and the web portal. I'll show you how to find your acoustic measurement data, whether that is based on a specific date or maybe a location that you want to search in order to find a previous score on a particular pipe segment. I'll review how to edit measurements if you find one that is not accurately representing the pipe that was measured, and at the end I will answer some questions. A few topics that relate to navigating the SLDog web portal are how to log in, that's the beginning, what you will see when you're on the home page, multiple ways to view your measurement data, support documents that will help you in the operation and use of your SLRAT and SLDog products, and reports that can be created from the measurement data collected in the field. In order to log into your web portal, go to sl-dog.com. If you have had a user account access set up, your username will likely be your first initial followed by your last name. We're not able to recover your password if you don't know it, but if you need assistance with your password, the only option is to reset it. You can do this yourself with the Reset Password button, and your organization can have multiple login accounts to the same portal with no additional fee. If you need to set up a new user login account, you can use the link in the right column or call us at the number listed there as well. Once you are logged in, you will see your name in the upper right-hand corner up here with an option to log out. That confirms that you are logged in. If you click your name, you can change some account settings like your password or contact information. In the middle of the home page, you will see a list of devices that you have in your portal and several options to the right of that device list that allow you to view measurement data from those devices. If you have a device that is listed as not active, which in this case these three are listed as not active, that's likely a device that you have used in the past, like a demo or loaner, and it is not in your portal anymore. You still have access to view the data from that device, though. There are a few important links across the top to help you navigate to different areas of the portal. The home button, of course, brings you back to this page. Measurement search and support documents and reports tabs will take you to those features, which I will discuss more in detail in a little bit. Once you've run tests in the field with the SLRAD and uploaded the data to your web portal, how do you make use of those scores? How do you view the measurements? This on the screen is what your measurement data looks like when viewed in the web portal. There are a few ways to get to this data, and they allow different ways for you to view specific sets of scores. Again, I will dive deeper into the different ways to view measurement scores in just a little bit. The Support Documents tab at the top of the page will take you to this list of helpful links. The first column contains all of the information about the SLRAT, including user manuals, quick start guides, and other instructional videos. The second column has useful links for the SLDog web portal and Windows PC local client, and the third column is for the SLDog mobile app. If you aren't familiar with the mobile app, you can check out the previous webinar where we discussed that in more detail. All previous webinars are available once again on infosense.com or at the login screen of sldog.com. When you have implemented an SLRAD acoustic screening plan as part of your sewer maintenance program, you're primarily using the score to direct your cleaning efforts. Currently, there are two other ways you can use the data that is collected. A measurement quality report, which is intended to help gauge if the devices are being operated properly, and a graph of your system condition based on the scores collected. There will surely be other reports available in the future. I will show you these two reports and then show you how to create these reports. The GPS histogram report takes the GPS scores created by running tests in the field and puts them into a graph. This can help see the overall health of your system. This histogram shown here is from a presentation done at the No-Dig conference in 2015. Along the bottom is the assessment score received by the SLRAT from 0 to 10, left to right, and the vertical axis is the number of pipes tested. About 4,500 measurements over a 9-month period. That's 9,000 manholes located and inspected, over 1 million feet or 197 miles of pipe. As you can see here, the pipes inspected that came back with a 7 or above, represented in green, account for the majority of those inspected. In this example, depending on the utility's protocol for follow-up action, between 57 and 81% of the pipes inspected did not need cleaning. We see this time after time, and it allows you to see the efforts you are putting in with your SLRAT program actually producing results. This data allows you to focus your equipment, man-hours, and efforts on cleaning the pipes that need it. As a note, this report is something that we used to generate manually for the customer. We received enough customer feedback about its value that we now have this report able to be generated automatically from the web portal by the customer. The next report, the Customer Measurement Quality Review, allows you to validate the accuracy of the data collected and find any areas that may cause data discrepancy. This report is a good way to tell if you have a need for further training or focus from the operators. This report shown is a large collection of measurements that I've pulled from across a majority of all the devices currently used in the field. If you look across the columns, the percentages are a representation of what you should see as well. The majority of the tests should be valid. You see the 90% here. If you see a percentage in any of the other columns, early, late, or any other, that is much higher than 0%, you might take that as a good indicator to retrain and make sure the acoustic tests are being performed properly. And I'll go over what all of those columns mean in the future. I will now walk through the steps to create these two reports. All right, on your SLDog homepage, you will click Reports in the upper right-hand corner. In the drop-down, there are two choices. First, I will do the Customer Measurement Quality Review. Select the blue Run Report button. There are a few choices at this point. You can select a date range if you want, and you can select either a specific device in your portal or all devices. I'm going to select device 176, and I'll leave it as basically an entire date range of everything available. I only have a few measurements in here anyway. And then you click View Report. As you can see, this device has nearly all valid measurements and almost nothing in the other columns. There are 5 measurements in the close column, which may be normal. This just means that the devices recognized they were close to each other when the test was run. You may very well have had pipe segments that were this short. And the purpose of a close score is to point out that the measurement score potentially could have been created by the receiver hearing the tones above ground rather than through the pipe. Next, I will generate the GPS histogram report by selecting it from the drop-down and click Run Report. Again, choose your date range and the devices you want to include in the report. You can also exclude particular scores if you would like. 2 items I will exclude are any scores marked as rejected and verify. which verify is a device operation self-test, not a test run on a pipe segment, so I don't want to see those. And I'm going to uncheck this exclude none. Again, I'm going to select device 176 and view report. I probably could have done all. That's okay. This again will show a graph of the scores received. As you see here, there's a majority of green, which represents clean pipes. Next, I will cover a few definitions of terms, and then also cover the column header labels when you're looking at the SLRAT data in the web portal. Upon completing a test in the field, your RX device will show one of several words at the end of the test. Good means that you have a pipe segment assessment score from 7 to 10, and the pipe has considerable capacity for additional flow. Fair represents a score from 4 to 7, and poor is a score from 1 to 3, which of course means you need to take further action to maintain this pipe segment. Block means you received a score of 0 and no sound was able to get through the pipe. Noise, if you see that, it indicates that noise impairment was enough to invalidate the test. If this occurs, it may be possible to either repeat the test if there's less noise present, and or to swap the locations of the TX and the RX devices. If you have considerable noise, for example, inside the manhole, possibly created by a drop manhole with water falling, it would be better to put the TX creating the tones in this manhole and the RX listening at the quieter end of the pipe segment. Close is when the SLRAT transmitter and receiver were close to each other, as I mentioned earlier, during the measurement. The pipe assessment may represent a score creating by the receiver hearing the tones above the ground rather than through the pipe. Valid signifies that no anomalies in the measurement conditions were detected. It's a valid test. If you see early after a test, it means that the SLRAT transmitter unit was stopped prior to the SLRAT receiver unit completing its processing. This could be that the TX was started too early compared to the RX test being started, or the TX was stopped early either by the operator or by the unit shutting off, say if the battery died. The pipe assessment in this case may be corrupted. Late means the TX was started after the RX, and this can cause an error in the scoring and the pipe assessment may be corrupted. No TX means just that. The SLRAT TX was either not turned on or not communicating during the RX measurement. The pipe assessment is corrupted. Verify operation is a self-test that provides a method for verifying the TX and RX function. The test is conducted with the same TX tone sequence, but at a lower volume level. To conduct a verify operation test, the TX and RX should be located with the speaker and microphone side by side next to each other. To start the test, on the display menu options of both the RX and TX, select Verify Operation first on the TX and then on the RX. Reject indicates that the RX operator rejected the measurement. When an operator at the end of a test chooses to reject that test rather than save it, it is still saved, just with a flag to show that the operator rejected it for one reason or another. Once you are viewing the acoustic score data, it will be listed in this table format. I would like to review the column headers in red and what the data in those columns represent. The measurement ID, the first column on the left, is a sequential number that labels your measurement. This number is specific to the measurement and continues to count up forever, starting at 0 when the device was first built. The RX and TX hardware ID is the even number ID number on the silver plate on the top of your receiver device, followed by the next higher odd number for the TX. The measurement ID combined with the hardware ID creates a unique identifier that specifically represents a particular measurement in the cloud-based database. The next two columns are operator IDs. This is a feature built into the RX and TX device that allows you to assign a user ID number to a field operator. When you first turn on the SLRAT, you will be given the option to enter operator ID. Most people seem to skip this step, but it is available if you would like to use it. And also on newer firmware versions, that operator ID is still available. It just doesn't come up when you first turn on the device. Date and time is the timestamp from when the acoustic measurement was taken. The operator pipe length. This is the pipe length entered by the field operator prior to starting each test in the field. This manual entered pipe length directly affects and is used to calculate the score that is given at the end of the test on the display of the receiver. The operator entered pipe length is selected in 100-foot increments, starting at 50 feet and going up to 750 feet. Evaluated pipe length. This distance is calculated by the distance between the GPS latitude and longitude coordinates of the RX and TX devices individually. The GPS distance between the two units is not calculated by the SLRAT units themselves. It is only calculated after uploading the data to the SLDog web portal, and it is shown in 1-foot increments. I'm going to skip over the next two columns for a second and go to the field assessed score. This is the score that is shown on the RX after the test in the field. This score from 0 to 10 is based on the operator entered pipe length, like I said previously. The next column is the GPS assessed score. This score is based on the evaluated pipe length from the GPS location data. If you see an orange highlighted section here, like shown on the screen, that is designed to draw your attention to the field assessed score and GPS assessed scores being different. In this case, the GPS distance was 267 feet, and the operator inaccurately selected 350 feet. The more appropriate selection would have been 250 feet. In this case, the score was off by 1 because of the distance in pipe length. Back to the two skipped columns. The measurement status basically tells you if the test was successful, and the pipe status is linked to the score given. The pipe status is using good, fair, or poor to represent or block to represent the pipe condition rather than a 0 to 10 number score. The notes and user field 1 through 5 are user customizable fields that allow input of text, and I will cover those in a few slides. The last two columns are the GPS coordinates of each the RX and TX when the test was completed. I also want to point out that there is an RX endpoint ID field and a TX endpoint ID field in these columns with the GPS data. This is the perfect place to enter manhole asset ID numbers to label where the RX or TX was sitting during the test. I want to go over the difference between the field assessed score and the GPS assessed score one more time and explain in more detail why it is important to understand the difference. When you initiate a test on the SLRAT, the operator is prompted to enter the length of the pipe being tested. This is called the operator pipe length in SLDog. Based on this input, a score is generated. This is what the operator sees on the device at the end of the test. This is called the field assessed score. At the same time, the SLRAT devices calculate the pipe lengths using GPS location stamps to ensure accuracy. This GPS generated pipe length is called the evaluated pipe length in the SLDog. Based on the GPS calculated pipe length, another assessment score is generated. This is called the GPS assessed score. This does not appear on the device. You can only see this information after uploading the data to the SLDog portal. In this example, for the measurement 3605 at the top, the operator indicated that the pipe is 250 feet. The SLRAT calculated that the pipe length is 202 feet based on the GPS location stamps. These are pretty close, so the field operator did a good job of entering the pipe length. As you can see, this small difference between the operator's input pipe length and the GPS calculated pipe length did not make a difference in the assessment. On the other hand, when you look at measurement 3603 at the bottom, the operator indicated that the pipe length is 250 feet, but the GPS calculated the length as 165. This was a significant enough difference that the field assessed score and GPS assessed score are different. In this case, it would have been more accurate for the operator to indicate the pipe length as 150 feet. However, the assessment score is only different by 1 and likely would not cause a significant difference in your standards for follow-up action. A rule of thumb is that for every 100 feet you are off, the score may change by plus or minus 1. Again, this is just a rule of thumb, so it's imperfect, but it could provide a rough guideline. When the field assessed and GPS assessed values are different, as I said previously, the SLDog portal automatically highlights the fields in orange to draw your attention. If this utility never checked their SLDog portal, they would note the score of 8 and never recognize this difference. There are several fields provided in the SLDog web portal, as well as in the SLDog mobile app, that are available for you to enter custom information. This allows you to supplement the data collected by the SLRAT acoustic tests with other data that you may be gathering at the same time, such as manhole inspection or location information. These custom user fields will appear as columns in the web portal. Here, I will show you how to edit the custom field headers and what it looks like. To change user field headers, on your SLDog homepage, click on the red text labeled User Field Settings, right down here. This brings up a window, and once there, you can type in your custom field names. As you can see here, I have changed user field 1, 2, and 3 to be pipe segment ID, basin ID, and operator's initials. These are just ideas of how you can modify these fields. And then you click Save. Now, when you view your measurements, this is how your columns will appear in your web portal with the new custom standard column headers, pipe segment, basin ID, operator's initials. They will be labeling your user fields with data entered either in the field or from the mobile app, or you can also type that data in here by clicking these pen and paper icons as well. These column labels are also how they will appear correspondingly in your SLDog mobile app, as shown on this next slide. So this is how it'll appear. You've got your pipe segment ID, basin ID, operator's initials, and as you can see, user field 4 and 5 are still there as well. You can still use those even if they're just labeled as user field. There are several ways to see the data collected by your SLRAT, including searches, filters, and also hiding measurements from view. As a note, you cannot delete a measurement once the test is performed. If you have a measurement that you decide is not wanted, you can hide that measurement to remove it from view. The first and most basic way to view your pipe score data is to simply go to all the data on a specific device or on multiple devices. This will have the scores listed in order of completion, starting with the latest measurement taken first. To do this, you simply put a check in the box next to one or more of your devices and click the blue View Selected button. A way to view more specific data is to use search features. Starting with the most basic search is by date range. Again, you check the box next to one or more devices and set a date range, then click View Selected. If you click this funnel icon, it will open a window that allows you to choose certain measurement qualities to exclude from a search. So we click the funnel and you will see this window open. These items will have checkboxes next to them, and you can click to exclude each of these items from the search results. Be aware that when you set these filters, they persist even after you log out until you remove them. Once you select filters to set and click Save, you will now see a notice next to the funnel that states filters are set. This is just to remind you that you do have filters, and even if you're not intending to, it's going to exclude certain measurements with those characteristics. To clear these filters, open the filter window again, uncheck the boxes, and click Save. Again, these filters are available if you want to exclude certain measurement characteristics, such as rejected measurements, or say you only want to view pipes with low scores. You could filter out all good measurements, all high numbered measurements. A more advanced way to search is to click the measurement search link at the top of the page. Switch back to my web portal again. We'll go to measurement search. This allows you to choose many more specific criteria, as well as search with text in the custom user fields. You can type in text here. Say you're looking for, now let me run through an example. Let's say I want to find all the measurements completed with this device in the basin that we labeled as West. So I go to Basin ID, type in West, and I don't remember which ones we did, so I'm going to select them all and click Search. I'll go back and show the different fields that you can search in just a second. But this brings up all of them that we had previously labeled as Basin West. Go back to Measurement Search. A very helpful way to find a measurement of a specific pipe or an area is to use the proximity search. If you go here, you can set your location, pick a specific area wherever you may be, select that, and then choose your radius in miles, yards, feet, kilometers, whatever that may be. It'll bring up all of the measurements in that radius of that location. Let's now say that you are looking at a set of measurements and you have one that you want to remove or hide. Again, you can't delete the measurement, but you can hide them from view. Along the very top row are a few blue buttons that allow you to hide any individual measurements from view, right up here. Let me show you how this works. Let's say measurement number 113 received a blocked score. And the crew, let's say the crew realized that the TX was in a storm manhole not connected to the same sewer pipe as the RX. It received a 0 because they clearly couldn't hear each other. This would be a perfect example of when the operator could have rejected the measurement after the test rather than selecting Save. We don't want to see this measurement anymore, so we select it and click the button at the top that says Hide Selected. Again, that's measurement 113. Now you will see that measurement 113 is gone from view. It goes from 112 to 114. If you want to get that measurement back, you can click the checkbox labeled Show Hidden Measurements, top right. There's a checkbox here. Click that. It's going to show hidden measurements. It'll bring it back. It's going to be grayed out. It's pretty hard to see here. But it gives you the option to recheck that box and click the box next to Hide Selected, Unhide Selected. And that's going to very clearly unhide measurement 113. Sometimes you may find that information does not correctly represent the location of one of the manholes, which will throw off the score. Measurements that don't represent the correct location aren't seen as often as it used to be because of the updates to the GPS technology in the devices. However, if you do find something that is off, you can edit the measurement by clicking the little pen and paper icon to the left, in the left column. I'm going to say that measurement 101 has the RX in the wrong place. So we go down here, measurement number 101. For some reason, I guess I saw a score that I didn't think was correct. I can click the pen and paper icon here for measurement number 101. This brings up a screen that shows you the measurement taken after the current measurement, number 102. Then the current measurement that I'm editing, which it shows you over here that I'm editing it, followed by the measurement taken previous to that test. It also has a map of the location of that test. As you can see, the GPS score on this measurement was 3, so take note of that. I'm going to say that I know the RX was at the end of this pipe, and that the manhole was right at the end of the street, the dead end here. I click on the map. Anywhere you click, it's going to drop a pin, and it's going to fill in the latitude and longitude of that location where I just dropped the pin. I'm going to say that I know, like I said, the RX is down there, so then you're going to click Set RX Coordinates. Click Save, and the red line will be redrawn, and the score is also recalculated up here. It used to be a 3, now it's a 4. If you look at the key below the map, it'll explain what all of those pin marks mean. The original measurement will still be there, but it will not export or be represented in the data above. If you ever want to delete this edited data in the future, you simply click Remove Edits down here in the middle, and it reverts back to the original data collected in the field. So it just gets rid of that. The original data is always there, but again, once you edit a measurement, it'll be showing that information when you export because it's assuming you edited it correctly. To wrap things up, we have covered briefly how to navigate in the SLDog web portal. We've reviewed several terms and definitions. We discussed custom fields, how to create them and make use of them. We also went over how to find and, if necessary, edit your measurement data. Thank you for joining, and everybody have a wonderful day.